the first operatic performance in more than 80 years, and we're going to miss it.
The girls are coming.
I don't know. I don't think they're coming.
And the show's going to start in how much time?
And they have the tickets in half an hour.
So how do you plan on getting in then?
I'm going to just try and sneak in, I guess.
For the love of music, let's do it. Come on. Alex, so what if they stood us up? We still love music, right?
Yeah, and there's an opera going to start very soon.
So let's go, let's try sneaking in. I think this is the entrance.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Alex.
Hi, Asad.
Hi, Ayush.
Hi,
Nice to
Asad.
meet you.
We actually just...
Are you twinning?
No, actually, we thought, you know, we'd come to the opera if we could get a pass or something, and they said you're the man behind the scenes. Is this where we get passes?
Nothing is free in life, my friend. You have to pay for the arts. That's why people don't value it that much.
Fair enough. So what we can do is, since we're very pauper-like journalists, we can still have a conversation with you, right? That's
Why
free.
not?
That's free. Great. Okay.
Unless you're a student, I'll allow you at that.
I'm a student of the arts.
I'm a student of life.
Wonderful. There,
Good
let's
one.
go.
Hi, Asad. Nice to meet you
Nice
yet
to meet
again. Well, Asad curates everything at this magnificent structure called the Royal Opera House.
And he's actually going to tell us a little bit about it, because when was this structure made and what are the transitions that it has gone through?
So the structure, as they call it, the Opera House was commissioned in 1908 and inaugurated by King George V. It was completed in 1916. So it's over 100 years ago.
Absolutely.
It ran as an opera house and eventually became a movie theatre, and in the 90s it kind of closed its doors. It's been owned by the royal family of Gondal since the 1950s, and under the patronage of the present Maharaja of Gondal, Shri Jitendra Singh Ji. It was renovated under a process which took close to 9 years and opened its doors last year in 2016 after 23 years. And the goal was to create a cultural hub, a key performing arts space in the heart of this town.
Absolutely.
And you know, a lot of people have such fond memories of this place. You know, you yourself said you used to pass it by going to school.
Absolutely.
People have come and seen movies here. You know, Mumbai or Bombay, you know, just welcomed this restoration, reopening.
We did, and I'll be very honest, and forgive me for my ignorance, you know, I've grown up here in the area, and I always thought the only thing I knew about here was that there was a cinema hall, which was very popular. There was obviously the Diamond Market originally, and there was pizza in this complex.
That's right.
All of that has gone except for the cinema hall, and this is a piece of history that's been restored. So now it stands out.
But the idea of opera, I would think that not a large audience in India would really appreciate that. So you're trying to bring something very nuanced into this culture, right?
See, opera does have a niche market. That's right. It's like many of the art forms. You know, it all can't be mass, otherwise it loses its charm. But the idea is you have to build an audience. You have to educate an audience, and that's how you build it. So the idea of bringing opera like that, and Patricia is going to talk to you later, and she'll tell you why she's chosen this. Is, you know, you whet their appetite, and then you create a little more interest, and that's how you build an audience. There is an audience, but you know, unfortunately, this place can't be just dedicated to doing operas, which would be lovely, but it's a multi-use performing arts space.
But what I find most interesting is also the way you've priced tickets for something like this. I mean, usually these are very expensive things, and you guys have managed to price it quite competitively.
You know, 300. No one gets into the arts for money, A.
Yes.
Two is, you know, the idea is you have to democratize art, because the moment you keep it, and that's one thing we've tried to do at the Opera House, it's this grand old structure, right? So it looks very elitist, but it's not. We want everyone to come in. So I've done so many outreach programs for kids. I want NGO students to come in. I mean, this is for Bombay to enjoy, Mumbai to enjoy, sorry. Oops. But you know, that is the goal of the royal family. They've spent privately restored out of their money, and they've created this platform for the city.
What's the response been like?
I mean, the response has been amazing. I mean, to this opera or in general?
This particular opera.
I mean, amazing. We were sold out in the first show. I mean, we're sold out for every show. So I can't even hook you all up with tickets, my friend, even though you pay.
And those tickets, just to tell our viewers, were 300, 400, 500 and going up to 1,000. But that's still less than you would pay for a multiplex ticket.
Fair enough.
You know, it's like apples and oranges. To be honest,
Absolutely.
now you can't compare.
And this is perhaps one of the most unique experiences that you can get in this city, perhaps in most places around in this country. But Asad,
it is India's only standing opera house to date. And
full-fledged royal operas are out here, and I don't think they're anywhere else out there, right?
You know, like when you talk to Mark and Patricia, they'll say they did my opening weekend, right? So they said like performing here is like performing in any small opera house in Europe. Right. So, you know, you capture that beauty. But now we don't want to be, you know, we've got so much wonderful art and culture out here. So the idea is even to, like we've had, you know, the Sarod Maestro, Amjad Ali Khan perform here. We've had various forms of music. So the idea is use it as a multi-facet performing art space and invite people in and build audiences and make it like a hub. That's my goal. I want it to be buzzing.
We're with you on that goal, but you've got to be honest with us. There has to be some spot in the corner where Alex and I can just fit and enjoy this show. Come on.
You can use your charm at the ushers down, and you know, if there's some pretty girls you can charm. That's up to you.
Fair enough. Thanks, Asad.
Not
Thanks
me.
so much. Absolute pleasure talking to you, man. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's completely empty right now. Hey, but you know what? Asad promised us that we could speak to Patricia and Mark. Yeah, let's speak. Let's wait here for some time. Well, we were promised that we would get a chance to speak to the people behind the operatic performance that's going to go live just a short while from now. And here they are. They're speaking to us now. Thank you so much, Patricia and Mark, for speaking to us. Pleasure. I know that time is of the essence and you have to run backstage in the next 15 minutes you've given us. So I want to launch straight in. The idea of starting an opera, where did it come from?
Actually, it started from us wanting to teach singing. 7 years ago, we decided to come to India, and we've committed to coming not once but 3 times a year, and we've been doing that, sometimes more than 3 times, to teach singing, to develop the voices, and as we noticed that there was more and more talent coming to connect with us, there have been singers from all over India, which has been very exciting. It's been hard work, but nevertheless we've kept at it, and this is actually our 3rd opera, would you believe it? Because we started with a little opera called The Little Sweep by Benjamin Britten, which we did at the NCPA. And then a year later, that was 2013. Yeah. And then 2014 we did Purcell's Dido and Aeneas, which is quite a challenging piece because it's in a very particular style. And then we decided we need to do a big work. But it was mainly because last year in October we inaugurated this opera house, this amazing place. We were allowed to sing for half an hour, and then there was a wonderful reception, and then we thought, you know, an opera house needs opera, and a full opera, because so that's how it started, really.
And since we have a collection of singers that we've been teaching, we thought, well, why not? You know,
this is the best place to showcase that talent.
Exactly.
It was perfect.
Wow. So, can you tell us about the piece that you've chosen? What was the idea behind it? What's it called?
This is called Il Matrimonio Segreto, which is the secret marriage, based on an English play called The Clandestine Marriage. And it was a runaway success when it was done. It's an Italian comedy, and it has all sorts of mix-ups on the subject of marriage. And we thought, marriage, India, yes, we've got to have this one, because that was the obvious thing. And so, you know, there's an arranged marriage being concocted, and there's a secret marriage that's already in the middle of it. So, you know, consequences abound. It's all ridiculous and high, sort of fast, comical stuff going on, and misapprehensions and everything.
The one word that's repeatedly circling my head right now is Bollywood.
Well, there you are.
No, so that was going to be my next question as well. Mark, did you guys have to tailor make any bit of that script, perhaps for the, fashion it for the Indian audience?
No.
Not at all.
It's just absolutely the way it was.
Right.
And we find that, you know, I suppose maybe 17th century Italy has something in common with the sort of the marriage rites and rituals that India has still. I don't know, but you know, it just came lock, stock and barrel, the whole thing. We could just import it straight away. It was no problem at all.
But otherwise, Patricia, what has the response been like? You know, right here at this historic location, being the Royal Opera House in the heart of Mumbai, what's the initial response been like? Has it been positive?
Actually, the Opera House themselves were delighted when we suggested it. They said, come anytime and do an opera for us. So when we suggested the dates and all through the planning, they've been very helpful. In fact, Asad Lalji, whom you spoke to earlier, once we arrived here, because we're musicians, we're artists, we're not good at the practical things of you know, publicity and finding money and this and that. But he did an amazing thing with his team. They got lots of publicity for us, and do you know, within suddenly about 2 weeks ago, the thing sold out.
Yeah, he mentioned. He said that it's all sold out.
Yeah, it has been.
We're fortunate enough to be seated here with you today because he let us sit down and you gave us this lovely opportunity to chat with you. Otherwise, we wouldn't get access, apparently.
So where to from here? This is one performance. When's the next opera that you're planning?
Do you know, we've been taking our time, because when we first started teaching, after a couple of years, people in Bombay kept whispering and saying, we don't see any results, we don't see any results. And I said, I'm not going to be rushed. I've got to wait for my singers to develop. And what's been happening, even these last 3 weeks, young singers are coming to me, and I've been teaching while doing rehearsals and things like that, and I'm amazed by the passion that they show for opera. So having done this has been a big project. You know, we've been discussing it since December. In fact, early this time last year we started the discussion. We committed to it in December, Jan, and then for the last you know, gave our singers the music in April, and now we've been working it. We have to take stock. We have to see what did we succeed at, and where can we improve things a bit, and then we'll decide. The other one important thing, and maybe I should mention it here, because we've had a big struggle finding money. And now that people have seen the show and are delighted and really enjoyed it, I hope we can find, you know, a few big companies who can just take it over, so we can do the artistic thing and not worry about finance.
When you guys have been coming here for a while now, for the last 7 years, have things changed a lot? Have you noticed that the appetite to consume something like this has really gone up?
Yes, both from the students' point of view and also with audiences. There's always been a certain amount of concert activity in Bombay. It's been very obvious, but it's now getting very pronounced, and we're noticing that students are much more enthusiastic. They go to study music abroad, whereas before they'd do music and something else or something. Sometimes they wouldn't even tell their parents, they'd just study something else and keep the music quiet. But it's now becoming, you know, it's becoming a drive towards studying music, wanting to perform. It's really exciting time to be here.
This is something that you've been doing for the last 7 years. You've actually taught students from here over a period of time. What do you think about the talent here?
Oh, I think it's excellent. I think there is some great talent. What we need is to make sure that they study more, that they learn languages. So this opera is in Italian, and we've got subtitles so that the audience so that the audience enjoy it and understand it. But we've worked very hard to make sure that their Italian is good. And I keep urging my students, if you study French, Italian, and German, and we all speak English, and maybe you could add a bit of Spanish and Russian.
We covered the whole continent there.
Pretty much. Yeah.
You know, as a singer, you need languages.
That's true.
Well, in Italy, everybody goes to the opera.
Yeah.
You know, it's accessible to everyone, and in Germany as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're really committed to their music. So we want to develop that here in India. And I think it'll work.
It's not the talent that's the problem. It's that for so long, you know, the infrastructure has not been. It's not that it's not good enough. There's very good people
It's not
doing
been
things here.
conducive for something like this, perhaps. But I think things are changing, Alex.
Absolutely.
Things are changing. Like Patricia was saying earlier, things have changed so much over the last 7 or 8 years. Perhaps Alex and I could reconsider jobs both.
Definitely. I've mentioned
Can
it
we
already.
train with you, Patricia?
You can, yes, but you have to work hard.
No slackers.
You know, so I have a very small request, and I hope that you will grant it. I've heard Patricia.
That's not fair.
I've heard Patricia sing.
That's good.
I would love to hear.
But I haven't.
You want to hear Mark sing, but Mark's not a singer.
But I would love to hear a very small piece, if that is possible.
I don't have a piano, so I can't do anything.
We're
so
all
I could
audience.
play on the chair.
Okay, so I'm going to improvise. Well, not quite, but I haven't even warmed up. Every singer
so
has to
mean.
do their
So
scales
mean.
and sing. It's really unfair. So if I get any wobbly bits, it'll be your fault.
It'll be my fault entirely.
Absolutely.
Let's see. I think that's enough.
I am floored.
I got goosebumps.
Thank you so much for having us here,
You're welcome.
giving us a glimpse of what it is to listen to operetta.
It was a very, very, very special moment. Mark, Patricia, thank you so much. I mean, when you were
Welcome.
singing, this lovely, magnificent structure called the Royal Opera House it was the most mellifluous thing that I've ever experienced. I promise you that. And Alex and I both sing, and we're fans all together. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you,
and thank you so much for tuning in. Do visit the Royal Opera House. It's an experience in itself. Thanks so much.